What I'm about to tell y'all is gonna blow your mind. But a man found me in the street with coming out of my mouth.
What's good, YouTube? I'm back with another crazy story. This one is crazy for real. This lady went on her lunch break like any other day, but the next thing she knew, she was found unconscious in the middle of the street and later woke up in the hospital paralyzed. She about to break it all down right now. Let's get right into it.
Hey y'all, I think it's finally time I told my story. I've been keeping this in for a long time. This happened back in like 2019 through 2021. But yeah, as you see by the title, story time on how I randomly became paralyzed. Found in the street during my lunch break. Let's get into this video. This is some crazy shit, y'all. So I'm gonna have to do multiple parts because it is like a very detailed story. This was 2 years of my life. Like, this was major. And y'all can't tell because I'm in the car, but your girl is perfectly fine now. I can walk, no complications. I can walk, I can run. Man, God is good. That's all I got to say before I get into this. So it was a normal ass day at work. I worked at Chocolate Smoothie. If you're from the DMV, it was the Warrior Crossing one. You know. And I was at work, but I was like off. Like, I didn't feel weird or anything, but according to others around me who know me, they said I was off. I was extra clumsy, which I didn't think anything of it because I'm a clumsy person. So it was just like, oh damn, I'm really being clumsy. But when it comes to work, I'm never clumsy. So that's where it was like, But anyways, I was being really clumsy, and it got to a point where like I had dropped a smoothie order, and oh my God, I was so embarrassed. And my manager peeped, so she was just like, "Right, how about you go on lunch break?" And I was like, all right, cool. And she told me like take a little extra time because she's peeped I was going through it, but I was good in my head, So what ended up happening was I go on lunch break, and the last thing I remember is going on lunch break. So at this point, I have to tell y'all from other people's point of view because for about 2 to 3 days, I was unconscious. So I do not remember anything that I'm about to tell you. This is what people are telling me. What I'm about to tell y'all is going to blow your mind. But a man found me in the street with blood coming out of my mouth. And it was dark and cold. He said I was shaking. He couldn't tell if I was having a seizure or if I was just cold. But he has said that he saw me, and he didn't know what to think. Like, he just didn't know what was going on. But after he saw like multiple cars drive by, he was like, oh no, he had to turn back around. Because, mind y'all, I was 15 years old. This happened in 2019. So people are really wild out here. You're gonna drive past a 15-year-old little girl on the ground, you see blood coming out of her mouth? Come on, y'all. Do better, society. Do better. Anyways, I did get to confirm this. Like, I saw the security footage because they were trying to figure out what was going on. A situation like this, what y'all gonna think automatically? I got robbed or something, like something bad happened to me, like, Okay, so yeah, fast forward to being in the hospital. At this point, I wasn't waking up, so they declared me in a coma state. I'm not sure what you would call that. I'm in nursing school. I need to do better. Anyways, now I can get into the conspiracy on people saying that people in comas can actually hear their loved ones. That is so true, y'all. Oh my goodness, it made me cry. Like, I could hear everybody coming in, seeing like my limp body, and they were just like hysterical. They just instantly broke down, and I felt that. But being in a coma, it just felt like I was trapped in my mind. Like, it was so weird. I couldn't move, I couldn't talk, but I could hear everything. Like, it was super weird. I wasn't able to see towards like the end of my coma, but it's kind of a blur to me, honestly. But that was a really crazy experience. Like, honestly, I never want that to happen again. Honestly, I told my boyfriend, I was like, please take me off life support if I ever get to that point, because being in that coma really told me like, no, I can't do it. So at this point, my mom told me they had ran so many tests on me. Like, they did as much as they could with me being unconscious, and everything was coming back negative, like, which was crazy because the results are showing one thing, but obviously my body is showing another, and we didn't even get into what happened when I woke up. So basically, my mom also told me that they were like pinching me at this point. This should have been the first red flag. I'm gonna make other parts regarding the mistreatment I faced in the hospital with this rare disorder, because these doctors didn't know about it, so they tried to say I was faking and that I have I was really about to fuck this name up, so I had to look it up. But Munchausen syndrome. They tried to say I had that, which was absolutely ridiculous. Like, come on now. Why would I want to do that shit at 15 years old? I mean, some people do. I mean, that's the point of the syndrome. But I'm not one of them. Like, don't play with me. Anywho, I was left with bruises all over my body. Like, all across my chest, my arms, my legs. If you know me, you know I'm so ticklish. Like, so my mom told them that, and they were just like, I heard they were tickling me and everything, but nothing woke me up. They wanted to see if I was faking. Obviously, I wasn't faking. Like, come on. I did not have to be bruised up that much for you to know that I'm faking. And I really wish that we documented a lot of stuff more, but my parents were just worried about their baby. Like, that's how you know that's real love right there. We're not even worried about the money, worried about no lawsuits right now. She was worried about me getting better. I missed her so much. Oh my gosh. But yeah, y'all. So I'm gonna tell y'all what happened when I woke up. So now I'm up. Lord, I screamed to the top of my lungs. Oh my gosh. Like, they were about to sedate me, but my mom said no. So I woke up and I was paralyzed. Y'all, paralyzed. I could not feel anything from my neck down. Like, I was just at work. So yeah, y'all, I'm telling them that, and they are like freaking out. They're calling all different specialists, like seeing who they could get to see me, because I'm a minor, you know. They take stuff like that so serious. And then the fact that I had blood coming out my mouth, they think I might have had a seizure as well. It was just a lot. Like, oh my gosh, y'all. At this point, I never mentioned that I got transported to a hospital that my mom was not fucking with, y'all. Oh my gosh. I'm not going to name drop, but this hospital is not recommended. Like, a lot of people know that if you go in there, you might not make it back out. So my mom was not having me being there, but because of my critical condition, it was like, how was I going to get transported anywhere else? Like, they had to get me to the nearest place. So y'all, I stayed there for about, I had to stay there for a minute because they had to run tests. So I think I stayed there for about 2 weeks. But my mom was like fed up. She was like, we can continue elsewhere. But it also wasn't just my mom, y'all. The doctor started to be like, there's nothing we can do type shit. Like, and trying to send me home. Like, trying to give me outpatient physical therapy and stuff. So that was crazy. So at that point, my mom just said fuck it and agreed to let me go home, even though I was still paralyzed. Like, what the heck? Was this about to be my new life? So one doctor did come in. I think he was a specialist. He came in and did say that was a possibility that I had FND, also known as functional neurological disorder. That is actually what I do have, but it was a theory at the time. And he was like one of the only ones. He said he was one of the only ones who was given that theory. Like, everybody else was like, no, she's faking. And I really appreciate him for rooting for me, because the research on it is fairly new. Like, the background on FND, it actually shows how people were getting sent to psych wards and stuff because they didn't understand it. Which I'm so glad times have changed, because imagine, like, I'm in the psych ward and I'm actually paralyzed. Y'all trying to make me walk. That's so cruel. Anyway, it gets even worse because I get home, right? Mind y'all, it's a struggle. Like, my mom doesn't know how to take care of a kid like this. She didn't take any type of classes. You know, all she got to do was watch the nurses take care of me. And I barely let them take care of me because I don't play that. They was being rough. My mom was my caregiver. So she was going through, but she stayed strong for me. Like, oh my gosh, that lady was so strong. So we're home. We thought I would be starting physical therapy ASAP with my condition. No, we ended up having to wait 2 weeks to get into physical therapy. I lost all muscle tone and I was back weak again. Y'all, come back for part 2 because I ran out of time, but it's getting real interesting. Hey TikTok, back with part 2 of how I became paralyzed randomly and found in the street during my lunch break. So at this point, I am home doing outpatient physical therapy, even though, you know, I wasn't in any condition to be sent home. Y'all, I had no muscle tone. I was a completely healthy person who just became paralyzed. So now I'm home. My mom just said, fuck it, and agreed to letting me do outpatient rehab because something's better than nothing. So in order to be released from the hospital, I had to get a psychologist, psychiatrist, and a neurologist. 3 things that were very important. So my neurologist theory was that I had something called FND, functional neurological disorder, which is actually what I turned out to have. But at this point, we weren't sure if it was just that or any other genetic disorder, And I can actually point out that to this day, I still haven't gotten a genetic test. But I know that's something a lot of people have been telling me, like, oh, you should get, because, y'all, this is not even the only rare disorder I have. I have 2 rare disorders. But this video is only about one, FND. So yeah, I didn't mention to you all that I did do rehab in Washington, D.C. for a week. And this is what made my mom so pissed, because she's like, what is this one little week doing? Like, yeah, I was making progress, but not enough to be sent home with parents who don't have any experience with someone with my disability at this point. Like, and then they didn't send me home with a caregiver or anything. Like, it was really just my mom and, my family. So imagine the burden that it had on them. Now, at this point, this is like halfway through November, and, physical therapy is, making slight progress, but it's just not enough for me. Like, I'm still very weak and getting discouraged at this point. So I'm talking to my neurologist. Shout out to them, because they were amazing through this whole process, and they completely agreed that outpatient was not for somebody with my condition, that I needed to be in an inpatient rehab. So we ended up finding a really great rehab, and I love this place, y'all. Like, they were fully equipped for my disorder. I did aquatic therapy. They had like animal therapy, everything that a 15-year-old could use to help them get through, such a tough time. Like, shout out to them. And I'm not trying to name drop any hospitals, because not everything is peaches and cream with these stories, and I don't got time for nobody reaching out to me. The first rehab that I was at for that week, I really didn't like it there. Like, it just made my experience even worse. One, because they were very old school. They didn't have a lot of modern equipment. So somebody with my disorder, it was just hard. Like, it made everything 10 times harder. 2, there was nobody my age there. Like, it wasn't a pediatric place in particular. Versus the second place I was at, it was a pediatric rehab. So, better experience. So, more reasons for my mom to be pissed. We found out that it's super hard to get into an inpatient rehab when you're already sent home. Like, they were supposed to have me transferred while I was in the hospital, like they did to me the first rehab. And then I could have got transferred, rehab to rehab. But no, they wanted to let me go because they couldn't do anything else for me, and I could continue outpatient, which is absolutely ridiculous. Like, if I can find a clip, I'm going to insert it so that I can show y'all, like, how I looked. Alright, so now shit's starting to hit the fan again. Just when we thought things were, moving forward, no. I had another seizure on December 20th. And I say another with, like, hesitation, because we aren't exactly sure if the night I was found in the street I had a seizure. But after everything, the theory adds up. So leading up to the seizure, I kept telling my mom, like, I just felt weird. I felt sick. Like, I had a headache. And she gave me some headache medicine, to get rid of the pain. Not thinking anything of it, because with everything I have going on, a headache is normal. So the medicine didn't do shit for me, y'all. Fast forward a few hours later, I take my walker. I'm like, Mom, I need to get some fresh air. I need to do something. So I'm walking around. I walk to the bathroom, actually, to splash some water on my face, like, wake myself up type shit. I don't know what's going on. Next thing I know, my body just locked and I dropped. Like, it sounds funny, but it was horrific, y'all. Very horrific. Not all of my seizures I remember, but this one I really do, because I felt every muscle in my body tense up. It just felt like electrical waves. I don't know how to explain it. If you had a seizure before and you remember it, then you understand. But if not, that's the best way I could put it. So I'm guessing my mom heard the noise of me falling, and she ran in there and she just screamed like she was losing it. Like, oh my goodness. I hate when that happens. Like, now my mom didn't touch me because, again, she didn't know what to do. on the hospital again. Why release me into my parents' care when they don't even know what to do? Like, come on. So my stepfather comes in, turns me on my side. I guess like he knew what to do and everything. And he called 911. 911 instructed him what to do further until they got there. So y'all, this is where I get pissed the fuck off. Y'all, I get to this hospital, right? They give me some seizure medicine, right? But the minute they found out that my diagnosis is FND, y'all, they want to send me home. Now, a little bit of background on FND. It is a very, very new disorder that is just becoming into light of research. Back in the day, FND was another mental disorder, and people were schizophrenic or crazy because they couldn't back up what was going on with their body. So the Google definition is this, and this is the best way that was broken down for me. That my computer is a brain. My brain is a computer. And the only way for FND to be completely confirmed is through a fMRI. So it's like a regular MRI, but it sees specific brain waves that a regular MRI cannot see. Let me know if y'all want me to go into more detail about my disorder, because that can be a whole video in itself. But back to me being in the hospital. They gave me the seizure meds, and they're all like, you're good to go. Because FND has non-epileptic seizures, it's like, what is the point of the seizure medicine? But, y'all, I had my seizure. I'm back paralyzed again. Like, I never got better fully, but I was making progress. But after that happened, all the progress was down the drain again. Wouldn't that be alarming to y'all? Not to mention, this is my first seizure. They did not do an EEG on me, y'all. They just assumed from another neurologist, because my diagnosis was FND, oh, you're good. Mind y'all, I never had an EEG prior to my neurologist ordering an EEG after this situation. If you don't know what an EEG is, it's an electroencephalogram, and it monitors brain activity in your brain. But even my neurologist was not agreeing with the hospital. They're like, you're trying to discharge this girl and she just had a seizure? Are you kidding me? So once they discharged me, there was nothing we could do. I had to go home. But my neurologist shot out to them again. They ordered me for an emergency EEG the next day. It would be outpatient, so I had to basically get my head wrapped and then wear it for 3 days. I'm actually put some clips because I have some videos from that experience. So yeah, like, y'all can see me getting it put on right here. And my mom was just keeping my spirits up the entire time. And in this clip, it was like the next day, and I look miserable because I was miserable. That ish was tight. Like, the pain was unbearable. Would never get one of those again. Y'all got to put me to sleep. Rose came back for that, and everything was good, which we knew, because FND seizures are non-epileptic, which means they won't show up on a EEG. But on a more positive note, by this point, I was now into the inpatient rehab, the pediatric place that I was so excited to get to because they were well equipped for my condition. Now, this place right here, I really thought they had my best interest in mind, but it was a particular doctor who treated me very poorly. Like, he didn't understand FND, and he just looked at me as like this disgusting being who's just faking everything about me. And it's just like, damn. It got to the point where I had a feeding tube and he snatched it out. But we're gonna get into that. Come back for part 3 though, y'all. I ran out of time again, but the story is almost over. I will be dropping part 3 today, so no need to wait. And I want to thank everyone for the kind words and support. I truly appreciate it. Y'all make me feel good about finally coming out about my story.
I told y'all this was a crazy story. This lady was found unconscious in the middle of the road. Woke up in the hospital paralyzed, bruh. That shit is crazy. If her story inspired you, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and click that notification bell so you'll be notified the next time that I post. Until next time, I'm gone.